Thank you and good morning, good afternoon, and thank you again for joining us today as we review our Q3 2022 earnings. I'll begin with a summary of our performance, followed by some strategic updates. Dirk will then run you through the financials, and I will close with a summary prior to the Q&A. So we are pleased to report yet another multi-record breaking quarter. Order intake for the quarter was 23.3 million euros, up 29% year over year. This results in a 9-month order intake of 62.7 million euros, up 47% year over year. On top of that, for the fourth consecutive quarter, we are pleased to report our largest ever backlog position of 50.8 million euros, up 49% year over year. From a revenue perspective, we delivered our best ever Q3 and 9-month performance. Q3 revenue was 26.9 million euros, up 39% year over year. This resulted in 9-month revenue of 69.4 million euros, up 36% year over year. This strong operational performance resulted in a positive EBITDA of 1.5 million euros for Q3, continuing on from our positive Q2 result. This puts us at negative 1.5 million for the 9-month period, an improvement of 80% year over year. Our strong operating leverage and continued operational excellence transformation are key drivers for this positive momentum, which, as I stated during our H1 call, we expect to continue. Moving on to some key strategic business updates, we announced together with Nikon their intention to acquire all outstanding SLM shares, including an immediate capital increase to reinforce our liquidity position. We have taken the world's most productive metal additive manufacturing system and made it 150% bigger, with a 1.5 meter extended Z-axis, opening up exciting new applications, with our first customer receiving the machine in 2023. Additionally, we have ongoing discussions with several customers for this configuration. The standard, but still incredibly groundbreaking and market-leading NXG12600 continues exactly in line with our plans, with additional deliveries and orders across multiple industry verticals. And next week, we will participate in the Formnext trade show, unveiling multiple new products and innovations. Moving on to an update on the progress of Nikon's takeover offer, the acceptance rate was around 75% as of November 1st for the public offer for all outstanding shares. This means that Nikon has now secured more than 86% of SLM's total share capital on a fully diluted basis. FDI approval has been granted in Germany, the UK, France, and Canada. Only the US is now outstanding. There is an additional acceptance period of 2 weeks, which began on November 5th, for anyone who had not yet accepted the offer. The final acceptance rate will be published following the end of the additional acceptance period. Now moving on to technology. We are a technology company, relentless innovators. We deliver the technology and products to enable our customers' success. And yesterday, we announced yet another step in changing the future of manufacturing by taking the world's most productive metal AM machine and making it 150% bigger, without sacrificing on the immense productivity delivered by the NXG12600, without sacrificing on build quality. In fact, just taking everything that is so revolutionary and incredible about the NXG12600 and simply making it a whole lot bigger. Of course, this has a clear purpose. It opens up new, exciting applications in the aerospace industry and beyond. It simply changes the game again. It's also around 2 times bigger than its closest competitor. But it's not just about single components. When you compare this configuration for building multiple smaller diameter parts, a square build plate just makes more sense, enabling the opportunity to build at least twice as many components compared to our closest competitors. On top of that, it's something that can be retrofitted to the existing NXG12600 machines, opening up limitless possibilities for our customers. With that, I'll hand it over to Dirk for a detailed review of the numbers.
Thanks, Sam, and good afternoon and good morning also from my side. As Sam already highlighted, we once again had a record-breaking quarter. Starting with order intake, we achieved significant growth in the third quarter, growing 29% year over year. Looking at order intake on a rolling 12 months perspective, this is by far the highest one in the company history. Also looking at the pipeline for Q4, we remain optimistic that we can also achieve significant growth in the fourth quarter. Our backlog increased slightly compared to last quarter, showing a healthy balance of order intake and order conversion. Finally, revenues were at around 27 million in Q3, allowing us to record our best ever 9 months revenue performance. Looking at our backlog and potential of in-quarter conversions in the fourth quarter, we remain positive to also grow significantly in the last quarter. Taking a closer look at the revenue performance, the machine business accounted almost for the entire growth year over year, which was mainly driven by shipments of the NXG 12600, while also benefiting from our growth in the US and the corresponding strong US dollar. Unfortunately, we had a few machines slip into Q4, while a portion of those were driven by material shortages. The situation slightly improved over the last quarter, but remains challenging. The after-sales business was almost flat year over year, which is not worrying as we had some larger one-offs in Q3 last year, and we expect to see another growth in the last quarter. Gross profit margin remains impacted by the material shortage situation, which keeps productivity on our shop floor low while leading to elevated market prices. In some instances, we have to pay 6 times our standard price to get material from secondary sources, as especially one of our key electronics supplier continues to struggle with his own supply chain. In other instances, we even perform the sourcing of critical parts for our suppliers to avoid shortages. EBITDA was positive for the second quarter in a row, which was mainly driven by the higher revenue and positive FX remeasurements, mainly deriving from the strong US dollar. At the same time, we see significant wage pressure given the elevated inflation across our key markets. Operating cash flow and working capital were negatively impacted by a further inventory build-up, which we have already seen over the last quarters. This was partially caused by the missed shipments I described earlier, as well as a further ramp-up of production for Q4 deliveries. We expect an improvement around inventories in the fourth quarter. Finally, our cash position is by far the best since I joined the company after receiving the third tranche of our 2020 convertible and the additional equity increase as part of the Nikon transaction. This allowed us to settle around 30 million of the 2017 convertible, which were due in mid-October. On the next slide, as usually, we provide an overview of our expected backlog conversion. As we close the first 3 quarters with around 70 million, we require at least another 30 million in the fourth quarter to achieve our revenue guidance of at least 100 million euros. We are relatively comfortable that we can convert around 27 million of our current machine backlog in the third quarter. If we then add after-sales revenue and additional in-quarter conversions in the fourth quarter, we remain confident to achieve our guidance. At the same time, the material availability situation remains difficult, which may impact our performance in the last quarter. As just highlighted, we feel comfortable to achieve our revenue guidance for 2022. Furthermore, we already achieved our EBITDA goal by recording a positive EBITDA in the last 2 quarters. We also expect to continue this streak in the fourth quarter. Looking at our long-term outlook, while the macroeconomic situation has worsened significantly since the time we published the forecast, our view has not changed, as additive manufacturing continues to benefit from a multitude of larger trends while becoming more and more cost competitive to traditional manufacturing methods. Therefore, we at SLM are confident to change the future of manufacturing. With that, I would like to thank the entire SLM team for their tireless efforts and hand back to Sam for his closing remarks.
Thank you, Dirk. So to summarize, we are laser focused on delivering the future of manufacturing. We are relentless innovators, removing the geometrical and economic limitations by creating bigger and faster technology. Our innovations and products are pivotal for increased technology adoption. They change the path and simply enable more of the world's huge manufacturing market to be converted to AM. We continue to grow the business in line with our commitments and plan, delivering our best ever 9-month performance whilst consistently improving operational profitability. Our order backlog exceeds 50 million euros, driven by continued industry-agnostic growth. We have reinforced our liquidity position, and the acquisition by Nikon positions SLM Solutions well on its accelerated long-term growth plan. And finally, while supply chain constraints continue, we have been able to effectively manage them throughout the year to date. With that, I would welcome your questions.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time we will begin the question and answer session. If you would like to ask a question, you may click the Q&A button on the left side of your screen and then raise your hand or send a written question. If you are connected via phone, please press star followed by 1 on your telephone keypad. One moment for the first question, please. And our first question is from the line of Konstantin Hesse from Jefferies. Please go ahead.
Hi there. Thanks, guys. Quick one. Just with regards to the U.S. approval, how are you guys thinking about this? Might there be an issue given that you were selling to defense companies over there? Yeah, just some insight or some thoughts into that would be great. Thanks.
Dirk, do you want to take that?
Yes, sure. Hey, Konstantin. So I think in general, like as we already stated previously, we do not really expect like issues with the approval. There's a few like defense contracts where we have been a subcontractor, but from our perspective, we're not at the position yet to be really significant. Hopefully, for sure, in the future that will change, but for the time being, we believe we are not really critical, and therefore the approval should not be an issue. And also, you need to consider that Japan, as a G7 member, is also a close ally of the US.
Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, as a reminder, if you would like to ask a question, please press star followed by 1 on your telephone or click the Q&A button and raise your hand. The next question is from the line of Sven Sauer from Kepler Cheuvreux. Please go ahead.
Hello, gentlemen. Sorry if you mentioned this. I had some connection problems, so I could only join late. But I was just wondering what triggered the additional acceptance period?
Dirk, again, I shall let you take that.
Yeah, it's more or less a mandatory item to allow people who have not been able to kind of subscribe during the initial period to subscribe. So it's a standard procedure, nothing unusual.
All right, great. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any further questions, please press star and 1 on your telephone or send us your question in written form. So there are no further questions at this time, and I would like to hand back to Sam or Larry for closing comments.
Great. Thank you all for taking the time, and we wish you a great rest of the day wherever you are. Thank you. Have a good day.